Hello, welcome back to Oracle PL tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to discuss about cursor parameters. So let's try to figure out what is the problem with this piece of code. Let's say I ask you to find out the employee name and salary of a particular department, right? And in this case, let's say department number is equal to 10. So in that case, what you did, you select, you write a cursor C1, and then you write select ename sal from EMP where department number is equal to 10. So what I did is I hard code is department number 10. Okay. And then I use cursor for loop and then I print out the employee name and salary for this department number 10. Well, this thing is going to work for this department number 10. So what happens if tomorrow I ask you, can you print out the for department number 20 and 30 and so on? So you have a couple of options here. Are you going to write multiple cursors? Let's say, for example, this is my piece of code which is working right now, and what I do for department number 10, or something like I declare cursor C2. Cursor C2 is department number 20, right? And then what I do the same thing here again. I copy this piece of code, and then I C2, another reference in C2, loop, and then loop. So this is one possibility. So that means I can write depending uh, on the value of my where condition. I can write various cursors. Okay, but this is not a scalable way of doing this thing, right? And then, like why it's not scalable of doing this thing? Let's say we have just only two departments. Then you can write two cursors. So what about we have 100 departments? So are you going to write those things? Are you going to write 100 cursors at the declare time? Right? Are you going to declare those things? And then also that has some impact on the performance and all this thing, because unnecessarily you're going to open multiple cursors, that is multiple active sets, that means impact on the memory. Okay, so that is not the way that you want to do this. So is there any way, like if you see the query, right? The query is almost remain constant up to here. Only after the equal sign we are changing sometime 10, sometime 20, sometime 30, right? So essentially what Oracle gives you to deal with this kind of scenario, they give you, can we parameterize this cursor? That means if my cursor is going to, let's say this is my cursor, listening to my whiteboard and a couple of things there. So this is essentially my cursor, right? So what I'm saying is that, can I say, like instead of hard coding this to 10, can I put this 10 as some parameter, let's say x, okay, and then I'm going to give a value to that x at the runtime. Okay, that means, is there any way I can give a parameter to this cursor during the declaration time, and during the runtime I'm going to give actually the value, and that is what is basically the rationale behind creating a parameterized cursor or cursors with parameters. So here's a simple example that I rewrote that piece of code with, instead of if you see, the old code was just cursor C1, but here I introduce a parameter. And what is the parameter name? That parameter name is v underscore department number. What is the parameter type? That data type is a number. Okay, and then I declare select ename sal from EMP where department number is equal to whatever is the parameter I give. I just put that there. Okay, that means at this time we do not know what is the value of department number. Okay, so in the previous case, like example in this case, we knew during the declaration time what is the department number, and in this case we do not know. We just define that one as a parameter v underscore department number. At this point, basically this is null. We do not, v department number is null. And then what we do? Here's the interesting thing that we did. Same code for rec in C1. Then I give you the value of the parameter. Right? I give the value of parameter as 10. That means this select statement now become, the cursor now become select ename comma sal from EMP where department number is equal to 10. Okay. So essentially at this point, okay, at this point we are set. Like if you see the compare the previous example, so for rec in C1, so here we are executing this query, and if you go exactly at this point, we're also executing same query. Select ename sal from EMP where department number is equal to 10. But we make a little bit of elegant here, the code, that we are basically sending a parameter, and then tomorrow instead of 10, I can run 20, or I can run 30, I can run 40, or whatever. Okay. Even depending on some if condition, I can put some if clause, and then I will execute this cursor on a particular department number. Okay. So this is what basically this gives me the extra ability. The parameterized cursor gave me an extra ability that I can basically manipulate the where condition, the clause for the where condition. Like what is the on this part. Okay. And this is a very important very important thing in the cursor, so that cursor can become more dynamic. All right. So let's take another example. So here in this example, what I did, I asked you basically I'm just going to change the question now. Can you print department numbers, and then for each department numbers, what are the salaries? Let's say, for example, department number is equal to 10, and then say department number 10 has 3 employees. Then I will print out employee number 1, employee number 2, employee number 3, and their salaries. And then I'm going to print out department number 20 and their salaries, department number 30 and their salaries, and this thing will continue until I finish all my department numbers. Okay. So how do we do this thing? Basically, if you see, there are two loops. The first loop is I'm getting the department number, and for each department number, I'm getting the employee numbers. Okay, and then I'm continuing this thing until I finish my department numbers. So to achieve that, what I did, I declare a cursor C underscore DPT where I distinctly select the department number from DPT table. Okay, and that means C underscore DPT a cursor which has an active area where I have 10, 20, and 30, assuming that I have 3 departments in my department table, 3 distinct departments in my department, right? And then what I did, I parameterized the cursor C1. Okay, so cursor C1 is a parameterized cursor, and I just pass a parameter that is v underscore department number. That is what it, that's just a number. Okay. Then what I did, first in a for loop, I open the department C underscore department cursor. That means right now at this point, department rec has a department is a composite data type, and it has an element called department number. So C dot department number is some value. What is the value? The first value comes in and then paste to here 10. So now I have department rec dot department number is 10. Then what I did in the for loop, in the inner for loop, I open the cursor C1, right, with the value of whatever I got in department number. That means department underscore rec dot department number. Okay. So I give this parameter during runtime to this second cursor. Well, so how this thing is executed? So first time I got 10 here, so therefore department rec dot department number becomes 10. Then I go to the 45th line where I open this cursor C1 with the value of 10. Okay, value of 10. Then what I do, I execute this inner loop until I'm done with employee name and salary from employee table where department number is equal to 10. If I have 3 employees there in department number 10, then this dbms output line is going to print 3 lines. Then I'm finish the inner loop. Then I'm going to outer loop and then fetch department number 20 to department underscore rec dot department number variable. Then again I'm going to reopen this cursor C1 with another department that is of the value is 20. Then I'm going to execute that whatever the number of employees for department number 20, I'm going to execute here and next. So this is how, by using a parameterized cursor, I can change the query at the runtime. In a particular line, whatever you are seeing for rec in C1, this thing, basically this is, each of time, each time I got a department number, new department number, I do not have to write a new cursor. Instead, I use the same cursor. What I did, I dynamically put the value at the runtime based on what? Based on my department number. All right. And a department number is a static cursor. It's not like, it's not a parameterized cursor, because I don't know that, because I just want to get all the department numbers. So this query is almost static, but this query is going to dynamically change based on the department. So this is essentially what is parameterized cursor. We'll do some examples to clarify your doubts in the next videos.